Good evening. Pardon me. Coughing like hell. Good evening. Sorry about that. Whew. You know those days you wake up and you just know you just ought to just lay back down, just go back to bed. News-wise, it's one of those days. It really is. It fortunately, pardon me, nothing has, gone too crazy, but, I guess it depends on where you stand and where you live and all that good stuff, too. So, hang on, let me have a sip of coffee. So, it's just kind of been all over the place, the news, and it's a clear deterioration of not only the situation, but all these situations. So that in itself is, it is what it is. But, man, yeah, I did some flying today with Jimmy Crackcorn. That was fun. I enjoy flying. I'm kind of bouncing around here, though. I have got to set down time to just enjoy myself and let myself go with that. And I've got the biggest problem doing that. Other than that, just been kind of trying to keep up. Like I say, the news has been pretty much all over the place. There's been quite a few different headlines across the spectrum. I must say, before we I don't have anything in particular tonight specifically to talk about. But before we get into starting to cover the articles I have up, I just want to make comment to, and I'll talk about it even more a little bit later, but I just want to make comment to the amount of gun grab pushing is going on right now is insane. They are all out on this. And it seems like you're not even able to bring up the glaring things about this. Nope, they won't talk about that. Gotta go after the guns. They won't talk about the number of people that questioned their gender, that have been involved in mass casualty events as of lately. Most of them, as of lately, have had, I'm going to say gender confused, because damn it, that's what it is. I mean, it's crazy that we have to put different names, and, well, we just, maybe that's the whole thing. Why we aren't allowed to call it for what it is, because they have to change the language, because it's so far outside of the box that just kind of trying to veer somebody a little bit on it's not going to be enough. They have to change the entire definition of things, which they are not shy about doing. But we're not allowed to really discuss this in the open. Believe me, we're not. Because if I was to just sit here with you and have an honest, open discussion about the subject, I guarantee you I would be getting a strike. It would be some type of hate or bigotry or something. Just merely because I said facts, or, I don't know, maybe discussed, actual science and biology. And that in itself is a whole other can of worms. The fact that we can't have that discussion. Why we can't have that discussion. We are literally not allowed to discuss the truth with each other. Again, I'm going to remind folks that it's my advice when you look at a situation, no matter what, any situation, always pull yourself back completely as far back from the picture as you can. Take all of the emotion out of the situation, regardless of what the situation is, and think logically about the situation. Yeah, that's how messed up it is. The fact that we are so censored to the level that we can't have discussions about facts with one another is insane. Anyway. Again, I've got like 11 articles open. I figured I would just kind of jump into it. I am going to try to make as much easy of it as I can. Just because, hell. I think I need like a gallon-sized coffee cup. Make it designed like the beer bongs, and so that way I can, beer bong my coffee. That'll work. For a second until I drown myself. Anyway, let's start discussing some of this. Yeah. Now, I catch a lot of flack. Yeah, coffee stein, a coffee bucket. I need a coffee bucket. This hypersonic weapon issue, I brought up many times. I've actually been accused of lying about it many times. I've been accused of just completely not knowing what I'm talking about many times. And once again, right here, from the usofa.gov themselves, U.S. admits to, what's that word? Oh, another failed hypersonic test. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't find joy in our U.S. military failing at such important things. I don't really find joy in that. But I just find the reason why I find it so mind-blowing is the lack of awareness about our true military situation, our true military position in this global environment. It's not good. It's not good. Anyway, this here says the U.S. Air Force has revealed at least the fourth failed test of a hypersonic missile system made by defense contractor Lockheed Martin, suggesting that it's more likely to adopt a competing system built by Raytheon. The one we just had was not a success, Secretary of the Air Force Frank Kendall told members of a U.S. House committee on Tuesday. Now, let me remind you that the countries that have hypersonic missile technology include Russia. They are currently using them in the Ukraine conflict. China, which the launch of one of their hypersonic missile systems horrified the Pentagon with its capabilities. Go look it up. This again, it was another article that I had covered. It's one thing to puff our chests out and just say, oh, America. It's another thing to actually look at what's really going on. I don't like it. But the more that we lie about the reality, the more we don't discuss the reality, the less likely the reality will be changed. I don't like war. I don't want war. I understand war. I understand the importance of deterrence. I wished it didn't have to be that way. I wished we could all live in a little frou-frou land and everybody get along. We swing from trees on vines and all that good shit. Right? Loincloths for clothes. That would be great, right? As long as we still get to have our Wi-Fi and that our loincloths have pockets to put our mobile devices. It'd be fun. Hey, sounds a hell of a lot better than Build Back Better, doesn't it? Anyway. Yeah, not good. This here says we did not get the data that we needed from the test, so they're currently examining that to try to understand what happened. You fucked up. Kendall was referring to a March 13th test of the AGM-183A air-launched rapid response weapon, or the Arrow, a hypersonic attack cruise missile off the coast of Southern California. He gave no specifics on what went wrong with the launch. His comments may have come as a surprise to lawmakers because the Air Force issued a press release last week indicating that the Arrow test met several objectives. The release made no mention of the test failure. The Arrow has been under development since 2018 and was delayed after 3 failed booster tests in 2021. The Air Force claimed the first successful launch of the missile last May, saying it reached speeds exceeding Mach 5, or 5 times the speed of sound. But it still failed its test. U.S. forces don't yet have a fully operational hypersonic missile system. Let me repeat that one more time for everybody that tells me I don't know what I'm talking about. U.S. forces don't yet have a fully operational hypersonic missile system. Oh, by the way, I didn't complete the list of countries that have hypersonic missiles, right? All I said was Russia and China. They're not the only ones that have hypersonic missiles. Add North Korea to the list. Yes, Little Rocket Man has bigger rockets than us. Not necessarily bigger, but you know what I mean. Iran. I'm telling you this right now. Iran has hypersonic missiles right now. Let me know if I'm wrong. Within the next few months, Iran will be successfully testing a hypersonic missile. Mark it on your calendar. And if I'm wrong 90 days from now, you damn well tell me. Just saying. It's not good. Not good. Let's see. It goes on to say, as Washington has fallen behind Russia and China in the race to develop such weapons, hypersonic missiles travel at speeds over Mach 5 and are highly maneuverable, making them difficult to shoot down. In light of the latest Arrow tests, the Air Force is more committed to its other hypersonic program, the Hypersonic Attack Cruise Missile. Kendall told lawmakers a budgeting decision on whether to adopt the Arrow is expected to be made next year after as many as 2 more test launches. So we're kind of a long ways out yet. The Air Force reportedly received about $423 million in research and development funding for the Arrow in the past 2 years, and it has requested an additional $150 million in the budget for its next fiscal year. HACM funding totaled $423 million for the current fiscal year alone, and the Air Force plans an additional $1.9 billion with a B in spending on the program over the next 5 years. 5 with an F. The HACM program has been reasonably successful so far, Kendall said. He added, "We see a definite role for the HACM concept. It's compatible with more of our aircraft, and it will give us more combat capability overall." So, man. North Korea tests nuclear drone. Why not? What the hell? Boy, we're on top of this, aren't we? North Korea shared details about 2 of its latest weapons tests, both involving simulated nuclear strikes. Seoul also reported that the DPRK fired off multiple ballistic missiles into the sea just hours before a U.S. warship is set to arrive in South Korea. Pyongyang said it conducted tests on its new nuclear unmanned underwater attack boat between March 25th and 27th, stating that the test combat unit was accurately detonated underwater. Previously dubbed a secret weapon, North Korea's military has claimed that the platform can create a radioactive tsunami using underwater explosions and annihilate enemy ship groups without detection, though has revealed few details about the UAV. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of Poseidon? Nah, not the movie. That was pretty good. I'm talking about Russia's system. See if I can do the math here. Russia comes up with a system to do this very thing. And a short time later, North Korea comes up with the capability to do such things. There anything else like that we've discussed, maybe even tonight? Oh, crap. Russia obtained the ability for hypersonic weapons. And then North Korea obtained the ability or the capability for hypersonic weapons. One more time, and it's that pattern everybody keeps talking about, right? We need one more time to call it a pattern, right? Anyway. Things are getting crazy. Let's see. The weapon remained submerged for more than 41 hours and was detonated in waters off North Korea's east coast, the state-run Korean Central News Agency, or KCNA, reported on Tuesday. In another recent drill, tactical ballistic missiles were loaded with munitions simulating nuclear warheads to test the military's firing preparations, followed by a virtual nuclear attack in which the test warheads were detonated 500 meters above their target. Why would they do that? The commander of the launch unit said the drill affirmed that if we fight, we surely annihilate the enemy, according to KCNA. During a meeting of the ruling Workers' Party on Monday, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un stressed the need to qualitatively strengthen the DPRK's nuclear forces. He said he had reviewed the prepared nuclear counterattack operation plan in the event of a conflict. The latest tests come amid soaring tensions between Pyongyang and Washington and Seoul, with the U.S. leading a flurry of major military drills in the region in recent months, which the DPRK has repeatedly condemned as preparation for an attack. In retaliation, North Korea has carried out a record number of weapons tests, including several intercontinental ballistic missiles, drawing condemnation from the U.S. Earlier on Monday, South Korea's military said it detected 2 short-range ballistic missiles fired from the DPRK's North Hwanghae province. Both were reportedly launched in the direction of Japan, but landed outside the country's exclusive economic zone, according to officials in Tokyo. We will keep a close eye on North Korea's various activities and maintain firm readiness posture based on the capability to overwhelmingly respond to any provocations, the South Korean military said in a statement. Despite repeated warnings from Pyongyang, however, the military added that it would continue its scheduled drills with the U.S., which sent an aircraft carrier set to dock at a South Korean naval base on Tuesday. The warship will take part in a joint exercise with South Korean forces in waters off its east coast before it arrives, the latest in a long list of similar drills. So, I really think we are barking up the wrong tree with this stuff. Why are we having this bigger wing contest? Why? I mean, we've got like 5-6 nations out there flinging their wings out in the air. It's not good. It's not a good look. It's not good. And why? You know, that's the one thing, and I almost hate to say this, but that's the one thing that I did like when Trump was in office. Because whether it was part of the game or not, everybody was put in check. And he had everybody in check. Now, let's pretend that what we see is what we get. And I think there's a possibility, especially when it involves North Korea and Donald Trump. If there's anything that I think was real in the Donald Trump presidency, it was his relationship that he formed with Kim Jong-un. I think that was absolutely authentic. And then dumbass gets in office and pisses it all away as quickly as he can. Crazy. Now, I don't agree with all of Trump's international policy. I didn't agree with his policy on Iran. I think Iran needs to be treated the same way he treated North Korea. I mean, come on. Come on. If somebody was doing the crap that we are doing to Iran, and I'm talking about all the sanctions and all the underhanded crap combined, come on. If somebody was doing that to us in this country, would you not say death to them? Would you not do that stuff? We do that stuff for less. So I can't sit there and say, oh, and point at them and say, oh, well, they said death to America. Well, yeah. Put yourself in their shoes. You know, whether you agree with our policy or stance or whatever is neither here nor there. Those are people, just everyday human beings like you and I, that are suffering greatly because of the actions of the United States and other nations. I get the hate. And I did a piss poor job of ordering these tonight. In fact, I kind of looked at it and said, you know what? Piss on it. There are some things that kind of go together, and I've got them together, but understand it could bounce around a little bit. I normally try to kind of group things by like region or situation or whatever. Sometimes it's a little harder than others, and when you've got 11 tabs open, there's a bunch of squirrels running around on the page. UK shop price inflation hits a new high, says data. Annual inflation in UK shops surged to its highest in at least 18 years in March, Reuters reported on Tuesday, citing data from the British Retail Consortium, or BRC. According to the report, overall shop price inflation jumped to 8.9% from 8.4% in February, which was the largest increase since the BRC started tracking the indicator in 2005. The rise was largely driven by food prices, which soared 15% from a year ago. The figure correlates with official data released last week, which showed that the food and non-alcoholic drinks inflation rose to 18%, the highest since 1977. According to BRC CEO Helen Dickinson, the rising prices for sugar were a major driver of inflation in March, while fruit and vegetable prices also surged due to poor harvest in Europe and North America, as well as the weakening pound, which made imports more costly. Shop price inflation has yet to peak, Dickinson warned, commenting on the data. Meanwhile, according to a recent survey by market researcher Kantar, soaring food prices in the country may force consumers to pay an extra £800 or $1,000 for groceries this year. Bloomberg's Breakfast Index also showed last week that the cost of basket of goods used to make the traditional English breakfast has surged by more than 22% in February compared to the same time last year, to over £35 or $43. According to the UK Office for National Statistics, the UK is suffering from its worst inflation in a generation. Overall consumer prices jumped to 10.4% last month from 10.1% in January, slashing hopes that inflation was finally easing after 3 consecutive months of slowing. So you got that, right? And then is this the one? Is this the? Oh, this is golden, and I don't mean that in a good way. Let me tell you about a little story about a country called Germany. Oh, it's a new story. It's not that old one. So get this. I've got to set this up. Before I click over, before you're allowed to see the headline, I've got to set this up. So, let's say country has a large group of the citizens that's raising hell that they can't afford to live on their wages. Let's say that, I don't know, there might be several strikes going on in the country, a lot of people protesting, a lot of people resisting, getting screwed over, and then those that didn't totally get screwed over wind up losing their job to AI. It's nuts. It is nuts. But get this, there are still jobs out there that humans need to do. However, humans like to be able to, I don't know, eat and have a roof over their heads and maybe have some medical care, stuff like that. Humans kind of like those kind of things. And unfortunately, some humans want just a little bit more than those basic things. They want a little bit more than just being able to afford their vehicle to get back and forth to work, their home to live in, their food to eat, all that stuff. Most people would like to have just a little bit more, a streaming TV subscription, I don't know, mobile phone. All of these things are extras, folks. All of these things are extras. Now, mind you, every time you add on one of those extras, you need to make a little bit more on your paycheck. Bullshit with that, says Germany. If you don't want to be a slave, if Germans don't want to be a slave in their own nation, if they're not patriotic enough to be a slave in their own nation, well, then let's just bring in the immigrants to do it. I'm not kidding. Look at that. Germany to ease immigration rules to tackle workforce shortage, says CNBC. How in the hell do you like dim apples? I mean, what? Germany is set to introduce a new nationality law that is aimed at helping the country deal with a shortage of skilled workers, CNBC reported on Monday, citing a draft regulation. According to the report, the new law would cut the time foreigners need to apply for German citizenship from the current 8 years to 5 or even 3 years in cases in which applicants have made extra effort to integrate, make sure that ESG score is up there. The draft law would also lift the ban on dual citizenship for migrants from non-EU countries. The regulation also suggests basing immigrant entry on point system similar to Canada, what allows skilled workers to come on the basis of suitable work experience and a job offer without having professional qualifications that are recognized in Germany. The legislative changes are reportedly set to be submitted for approval by lawmakers in the coming weeks and passed by this summer. Analysts say the change in immigration regulations could not have come at a better time, according to a January survey by the German Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Over half of German companies have difficulties filling vacancies due to a lack of skilled workers. The ratio of firms facing worker shortages is its highest ever level, with 53% out of 22,000 companies reporting shortages. Yet, people are having a hard time making it. Why? Why is that? I don't know why that is. The authors of the survey concluded that around 2 million vacancies in the country remain unfilled. It's crazy. It's almost like a country that would get rid of all of its most important rules to get into the military, waiving all of those important rules so they could get more people in the military. Yeah, except that's not national defense and ours is. Damn, we got the short end of that stick. Banking crisis could trigger global financial meltdown, says ANZ. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. In fact, I'm not going to spend any more time on it. I've been covering this stuff for quite a while now. Headlines like this. So, just another headline like this. Like I said, it will fall when they choose to allow it to fall. Not a second before, not a second after. All this crap doesn't make a hill of beans as to when our currency, when our economy, when everything all falls. When they make the decision for it to fall, that is when it will fall. Period. And until then, just keep getting ready. Paris protest turns violent. I just looked over. You're asking about the TikTok stuff. What part of the TikTok stuff? And I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about any of it. I don't even know a lot about the platform. But I know that many different governments are trying to outlaw it. I know that some governments have already outlawed it for their own like government, people. I think the U.S. I don't think people in the U.S. government are supposed to be using TikTok at this point, with an exception. There is an exception. Gretchen Whitmer is allowed to use TikTok, and she was specifically, given immunity so that she can use TikTok for her 200,000 something and followers or whatever. So, which bill? Hang on. TikTok. I'm trying to figure out which what they're proposing. You're talking about take your what are you talking about? I'm missing an important plus. You call it plus? Really? I don't know what you're talking about, brother. Oh, the bill to ban TikTok. Okay. Kind of close to plus. What the fuck is plus? Anyway, sorry, I just had to pick on you. Oh, wow. So, but if what? Let's see, whatever you said, $1 million or whatever in fines and 20 years in jail if you what? If you use TikTok or something? Or what? What do you got to do to get that grand prize? You got to do plus. I'm fucking with you. What? Plus. Sure it's not plus? Because somebody was telling me something about plus. Oh, I'm messing with you. The funnest part is I know there's a delay. So, no matter what, I get to sit here in that awkward silence and stare at the screen. I just met. Oh, man. So, no, seriously, though, what is it? I'm curious. I don't know. What is it? What do I have to do to get that grand prize of the fine and the 20 years? What, just use it, or what's the deal with that? Because I honestly don't know. I know there's been talk about, I know that there's been talk about something involving it, but I haven't, I haven't dug into it. I honestly, with everything else, I didn't know it was that serious. Hang on. Lawmakers need to move forward with the TikTok bill. U.S. should stop suppressing foreign companies. U.S. senators unveil. I wonder what would be the best one to read. Where do I need to? Oh, is that what this is about? Are you saying that, like, if you use a VPN, are you saying that's hidden in the bill? Like, if you use a VPN, you could get charged with that? I mean, they're going to that. They're going to that. It's going to be in short order that if you want to be online, if you want to be on the internet, you're going to have an internet ID. And everything you do will have to be done under that internet ID. And guess what? Just so happens to be handy, it's connected to the same damn ID as your real ID and the fusion centers and your everything else, all your medical, all your school records, everything all in one place. So that's what's up with that. I didn't know I didn't know that. I was unaware of that, but that's why they're doing that. Because what they're going to do is, like I said, they're going to make everybody have and if you want to be online, you're going to have to have your own internet ID, and you're going to have some type of way to verify your identity. And don't be shocked if that doesn't involve an RFID chip. Probably not too far after they start this. It's absolutely insane what they want to do. So yeah, now I understand a little bit. I will absolutely dig more into that. I was unaware. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I knew that there was talk, and I knew that there was a ruckus going on about stuff, but I never had a chance to look at it. Ah. Well, yeah, that's the game is rigged, Steve. We're gonna lose no matter what we choose. They give us choices, but the thing is, no matter which choice we pick, we lose. It's a rigged game. Anyway, this here says a pension reform protest in Paris degenerated into violence on Tuesday as groups of masked rioters clashed with heavily armored riot police. Authorities say nearly 100,000 people marched in the French capital as public anger over the government's pension reform plan refuses to subside. The march started out peacefully, but as the crowd neared its destination of Place de la Nation in the east of the city center, activists dressed in black set fire to a storefront, prompting police to charge the crowd with batons drawn. Demonstrators were clubbed back and water cannons brought out to disperse stragglers. Video footage showed ranks of officers raining down blows upon the frontmost rows of demonstrators, some of whom responded by throwing rocks and other projectiles. One of these days, it's... Man. Violence begets violence. And just like, for instance, how Putin has made the statement or the remarks or the indication that at any point in time that he feels the threat an existential one, that he will use nuclear weapons. Well, we're all the same in that regard, that if we think we're facing an existential threat, we're going to do whatever it takes to mitigate that threat. It's only a matter of time before the protesters stop playing. Right now they're playing. Right now they're playing. Why do I say that? Because only the officers have batons. Just wait until the protesters en masse, I know it happens already, but I'm talking en masse, protesters start bringing baseball bats and stuff like that, and just not even giving the officers a chance, just walking up and crack. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Once people feel that the threat is existential, I damn well guarantee you it's gonna happen. Human nature. Demonstrators in other areas of the city set garbage cans on fire and caused damage to an unknown number of storefronts. City authorities say that 93,000 people took part in the protest, down from 119,000 at a similar rally last Thursday. A total of 740,000 people protested in towns and cities across France, the Interior Ministry said. Labor unions and protest organizers have repeatedly accused the government of undercounting attendance, with the CGT union estimating the turnout in Paris alone at 450,000. And that's very common, by the way. Very common. I watched, like, even with Occupy Wall Street, I saw how there were at least a couple 100,000 people in the streets, and they tried passing off like 10,000. I mean, just this insanely small number. Prior to the rally, Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin deployed 13,000 extra police officers to locations throughout France, 5,000 of them in Paris, announcing the mobilization on Monday evening. Darmanin said that such a force was necessary as more than 1,000 radical activists were preparing to instigate violence at the protests. France has been hit with constant protests and riots since President Emmanuel Macron bypassed Parliament earlier this month to pass a bill raising the retirement age for most workers from 62 to 64. More than 1 million demonstrators took to the streets across France last Thursday, and more than 450 were arrested in Paris after clashing with police and lighting fires. At least 22 arrests have been made in Paris by mid-afternoon on Tuesday, police said. Again, this is going to get worse. And unless they back off, meaning the government, with their stupid reforms, their austerity measures, it's going to get worse. This here is just an article that's talking about that mobilization that the previous article had mentioned. Basically, it says the gist of it. Insane. 13,000 officers to be deployed. Insane. Okay. Sip of coffee. I got 4 tabs left. I'm going to try to bounce through them pretty quick. A U.S. influence group alarmed over Russian propaganda in Latin America. The reason I thought that this article was important to bring up is because I've been talking to you here recently about the whole fifth column concept, and well, now I've been honestly saying Russia from the north, meaning Canada, and China from the south, meaning Mexico. But either way, this is what I'm worried about. This is why I'm worried that Russia is getting more involved once again with Cuba and Latin America. China has been getting involved with Latin America. I don't know. I think Cuba, too, there's been a little bit of back and forth with Cuba. Not a good situation, folks. And this, to me, just makes sense, because what they're doing is posturing themselves in Latin America to be more welcome there, in case they, need to use their property as a land bridge. I really do think at some point we're going to run into this. Nashville shooter hid 7 guns at home, says police. Now, my apologies for being almost an hour into the show before I even really talk about this. And I'm not going to get super deep into it, because no need in beating it into the ground. But it says the killer was being treated for an emotional disorder. You don't say. I'd have never guessed that. An emotional disorder? Nah, that's a total surprise. I would like to know details on medications. That's what I would like. as the details have come out, it's pretty crazy. The whole damn thing is pretty crazy. But I've got a comment to make about this incident, this event, this tragedy. The law enforcement that were involved in this operation, the school administration that was involved in this operation, picture perfect. Picture perfect. I watched the body cam footage. You don't get any better than that. You don't. Well, I don't know if it had a handler or not. I'm hoping that more comes out. Like I was commenting on the law enforcement and the school. So, officer shows up, and I'm going to do my best to say this. I can't play the video because, YouTube would get all bent out of shape. But an officer shows up on the scene, and I believe the first officer there. And there's a lady standing outside. And if I recall correctly, she's got a set of keys in her hand. And she's just standing outside with a set of keys in her hand, waiting. Right? First officer walks up to her. And I believe she hands him the keys, whatever, That was the key to get in. She was standing post outside that school in order to give law enforcement, who responded, a key to be able to open the door and go in. Now, is there anything different in that particular regard that happened in Uvalde that involved keys that, well, they didn't even need because the door wasn't locked? The door couldn't have locked because it didn't work correctly? So, administrator of some sort or teacher, staff, was standing there waiting to give the officer the key. The officer repeated multiple times something to the effect of, "Give me 3." And what he was talking about was he was talking to another officer that was across the parking lot. And he was saying, "Give me 3 officers. Give me 3 officers." He wanted a 4-man team to enter that building. "Give me 3 and come with me or come on," or something. Well, they put together their 4-man team pretty damn quick. And there was as soon as there was 4 people, they were lined up, that key was in that damn door, and that door was open, and they were going. There was no hesitation from them officers. No hesitation. They very effectively cleared rooms, and at some point made it upstairs on the 2nd floor. And the video did show them engage Audrey Hale. And again, I cannot commend them enough. They did great work. Great work. All of them. And I'm not, you guys know, I'm no fan of law enforcement. But I'm not a liar either. And so I'm going to come here and I'm going to tell you what I see. I'm going to tell you the truth for what it is, because it's about news, not about my personal agendas. Very good job done by everyone involved there. There is no doubt. Yeah, right. There are 273 cops. Yeah, they couldn't manage to do it. Um, I really hope that they use this situation. I mean, we can't do nothing. Unfortunately, we can't do anything to undo what's been done. So I hope they at least benefit from the information, from the wisdom, from the lessons that they've learned here. And when I say that, I don't think they learned bad lessons. I think they learned a bunch of good ones. I think one of the things that I think, well, two things. So the school was quick on it. Clearly, the school was quick on it. As soon as it started happening, they obviously very clearly had went on it into a hard lockdown mode. I think the number one reason why there wasn't even more casualties is because I don't think she could get to any more people. I think that people were locked away successfully behind doors, and she couldn't get to more people. I could be wrong on that. I wasn't there, and I don't particularly know those details. But I suspect that she couldn't get to any more people. And I think that's why, when it reached the point in which the officers had engaged her, she was engaging with law enforcement outside at that time. She was engaging with law enforcement outside at that time when they approached her more or less from behind, upstairs on the second floor. So I think that a combination of the school doing a very good job of locking down, preventing her from gaining access to more people, and the fact that she chose to engage the officers, I think those two things really, really saved a lot of lives. And I don't think that she would have engaged with those. I don't think she would have engaged those officers if she was able to commit more carnage. You know, I mean, that was clearly what she was there to do. And sadly and sickly enough, you know, she was well planned out in the whole 9 yards. You know. So I think the snafu in her planning was she didn't realize that those students were going to be so hard to get to. I don't think she realized the speed in which that school could get into lockdown mode, and because from the way it sounds, it sounds like it's one of the, and I think a lot of the schools, if not all, have these, or pretty much close to all of them. They've got doors that are held open by magnetic, and so if the power is cut to that electromagnet, that door will shut. Okay, and so in case of a fire, in case of a lockdown situation, the office can hit a button, and literally all those electromagnets shut off, and those doors go shut. And that's, you know, important in fire prevention. That's important. Well, fire is already going to be in there, but you know what I mean. Preventing the fire from spreading. And also, of course, something you do in a lockdown or need to be in a lockdown situation. You want to put as many barriers between you and the suspect as possible. So, a good job on the administration, the school administration, and law enforcement. I couldn't say that enough. A lot needs to be learned from this. Oh yeah, and the one other thing, get rid of the damn glass. U.S. values in sharp decline, says a poll. Man, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I'm not gonna. Uh, we'll just read this here. Americans no longer find patriotism, religion, children, or community involvement important. A Wall Street Journal survey has found. But I mean, did we need that article to know that? I certainly didn't. Baltimore blocks East Palestine toxic water dump. So apparently, they at one point, I guess, were gonna let them bring their contaminated water there, but now they've changed their minds. The sad thing about this, and the reason why I even really brought this up, is just to tell people that this stuff happens all the time. As far as people taking toxic waste and dumping it somewhere else. And the reason why they do that is because, hey, right, you don't know that one place out there 5 miles outside of town, you don't know what the hell those people are doing in them trucks, right? All of a sudden, you don't know, a bunch of trucks putting it, that's their business. My property ain't my business, right? However, if they were doing this, I don't know, 5-10 miles away from the incident where the incident happened in East Palestine, then that might raise some suspicions, right? And they would never be able to get away with doing that because people would say, "Oh, bullshit! You ain't no." So you're gonna dig up the soil. You're gonna do this, and now you're just gonna dump it over here? No. So that's why they take it somewhere else where the people don't know what's going on, don't know what's being dumped right under their nose. And they do this everywhere. Everywhere has these places, these toxic waste dumps. And this is how they do it, because nobody knows. We live in a messed up country. We really, truly do. Fun times. Pardon me. Sorry, I'm just looking over notifications. I had a bunch on, Assbook, and I wanted to make sure that wasn't unimportant. Impotent. All right. I've got quite a few headlines, although 11 of them bastards I already talked about, so let's deal with the other 5 billion of them. Coffee. On that note, I got one sip left. Gonna go down with the ship, damn it. Alright. I already covered that. Regulator explains fish kill. Let me try that again. Regulator explains fish kill near leaky U.S. nuclear plant. Okay? Because, I know that the nuclear plant was leaking. Nothing to do with why all those fish are dead. No. See, this is it. Check it out. This is what happened. I want it to be better, but it's not. And so, got it. What was that advice from Happy Gilmore? I mean, it was important life advice. Oh, you got to play it as it lies. That's it. Covered that. What is the 700 for or means? I don't know which 700 you're talking about. Oh, man. Oh, I agree. I will absolutely go down with it. Upbeat economic outlook issued for China. Pacific nation in talks to join AUKUS bloc. So they're trying to build that even bigger. Moscow accuses Washington of nuclear weapons hypocrisy. Well, yeah. Ukraine being obliterated, says Trump. Dozens fear dead at migrant detention site on Mexican border. A banking crisis could trigger global financial meltdown, says CEO. Oh, I think I might have had that one up. UNSC vote on Russian resolution fails suspicion, says Moscow. Musk announces drastic change to Twitter algorithm. EU may allow blocking Russian LNG imports, says Bloomberg. China wants Nord Stream attackers brought to justice. Let's see. Indian imports of Russian oil skyrocket, says an official. Kremlin regrets lack of Nord Stream probe by the UN. Over 5.5 million refugees entered Russia amid Ukraine conflict, says TASS. Let's see. Chinese space mission leads to major lunar discovery. See, China is making lunar discoveries, and here in the United States, we're making loony discoveries. Loony discoveries here in the United States, lunar studies for China. So, let's see. Russia succeeds in reorienting oil exports, says Energy Minister. A Russian man fined for spreading fake tiger encounter photos. So you beware out there, Tiger King. By the way, I feel guilty. I have to make a confession. I have sinned. But I did not have sexual relations with that woman. No, dude, seriously, I gotta admit to this, regardless of how embarrassing it is. Over the course of the past, 4 nights or so, I have actually watched at least all of the episodes that are on Netflix, Tiger King. Yeah, I broke down. Not because there was an interest, but because I couldn't find any damn thing else. So I have watched Tiger King. And just like one of the guys said, 3 words, what the fuck? I mean, the whole damn thing was like just a bad episode of some trailer park thing. I mean, nobody in that situation was, anyway. And if you haven't seen Tiger King yet, don't waste your time. It's I watch this crap, and I typically don't watch stuff like that, but I put something on just to go to sleep to, because I gotta have the TV on in the background. And so I normally find documentaries if there is a good one, or any one. I put on so many damn documentaries about so many damn things I'm really not interested in. Those are the ones I go after, because then I won't get interested in it. Because what happens is I wind up always putting stuff on that I always wind up watching a little bit of and taking a little bit of. And next damn thing you know, I'm binge watching the thing at night, going to bed. Yeah, I know, right? That's there are people on this planet that don't have clean drinking water, or any drinking water for that matter, and bitching about my Netflix selections to watch to go to bed. So take that for what it's worth. Let's see. Covered that. U.S. supplied smart bomb intercepted in Ukraine, says Ministry of Defense. Bolton issues warning on Russia's closest ally. West's labeling of Russia as imperialist disgusts most Africans, says senior Russian diplomat to RT. French banks raided over tax evasion scheme. Covered that and that. Pope ready to mediate in Ukraine church crackdown. Russia reveals energy policy priority. EU diplomats believe Baltic state hypocritical over Ukraine, says Politico. Let's see. FBI releases file on Trump's first wife. Well then. Terror threat level in Northern Ireland raised to severe. Belarus rebukes West's accusations on Russian nukes. U.S. becomes EU's top oil supplier, says Eurostat. That was an article showing the body camera footage. Again, I can't show that here because, Congressman demands IRS explain Matt Taibbi home visit. We are all Chinese, says the Taiwanese ex-president. Nah, I'm pretty sure I'm not. There could be Asian somewhere in the family, but I've never heard, no. The only thing I've heard, and this is all I've heard. It's not like I've really known a whole lot of family, but German, Irish, and Native American are the three, is the mutts that I am. Ukraine struggles with Starlink troubles. Asian leader cuts ties with International Criminal Court. Let's see. IOC unveils recommendations for Russian and Belarusian athletes. U.S. state passes bill banning property sales to foreign adversaries. Germany reveals reason for boosting aid to Ukraine. Let's see. Oliver Stone's nuclear film hits U.S. theaters. Russian Olympic champion hits back at IOC. And the last one, drone incident hindered U.S. intelligence gathering. In other words, we hadn't been fafoing around those parts since then, basically, is what that means. Anyway. That's a lot of news. That is a whole hell of a lot of news. Oh, actually, sorry. I got squirreled there. I saw a notification on Assbook, and I'm like, ooh. I wanted to see it right away, and then for a second, I clicked on it and totally forgot, I'm live doing a show. So anyway, I got to look at that in more depth in just a moment. But top secret stuff that I can't discuss. Seriously, top secret stuff I can't discuss. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to take my happy butt on out of here, and God willing, I'll be back tomorrow, just hopefully with a lot less news. So anyway, I hope to see you tomorrow. I hope you all have a good night. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit, and shalom.